Have you ever really thought about how much we love to celebrate the self-made person?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's this like almost cultural
The
obsession
lone wolf conquers the world.
against
Really?
all odds. But you know, what if this whole self-made idea, what if it's like more myth than reality?
It's a really interesting question.
Yeah,
And, on the surface, the self-made person, that idea seems so powerful.
right.
Like anyone can achieve anything as long as they work hard.
Yeah. Bootstrap. Pull yourself up.
But I think when you actually start to look a little deeper,
Yeah.
it's not that simple.
Not really, no. It's like
No.
we're all supposed to be these like rugged individualists
Yeah,
forging our own paths, no help needed, no thanks.
right. And it gets really isolating.
Especially when you're just starting out.
Absolutely.
Because asking for help is a weakness or something,
You have to pretend you have it all figured out.
even when you're totally lost.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which is kind of crazy because in reality, so many breakthroughs, so many successes, they happen through collaboration.
I think about like any major achievement in history. It always involved a team, people working together, sharing ideas, supporting each other.
It's never just one person.
No, but this myth makes it feel like you're failing if you have to rely on others.
Mm.
And that can really impact people's mental health. I think about, young entrepreneurs, students.
Trying to find their way.
Yeah, they're trying to their mark, but they feel like they have to do it all alone.
They feel like they're messing up if they're not achieving everything solo.
Right.
I know I felt that way for sure,
Oh, yeah.
early in my career.
I think most of us have at some point.
Big time.
Like, I remember this one time I was working on this project, super complex.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so determined to prove I could handle it all myself.
It's like you have to prove it.
Yeah, like not just to everyone else.
See yourself too.
Yes, exactly. But here's the thing. I got so bogged down in the details, I totally lost sight of the big picture. Working all the time, neglecting my health, and feeling more and more isolated.
I've been there.
Oh.
So did you end up having to call for backup?
I did.
Yeah.
Best decision I could have made.
Really?
I finally admitted to a colleague, like, hey, I'm struggling.
What'd they say?
They were so supportive. Not only did they help me get back on track, but they also shared their own experiences. I wasn't alone in feeling overwhelmed.
That's so important to remember.
Yeah.
It's like we always assume everyone else has it figured out. Meanwhile, we're the only ones struggling behind the scenes.
It's like this curse of comparison,
Mhm.
especially with social media these days.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's curating their perfect lives.
Highlight reels.
But the truth is, we all need support, guidance, we need help.
It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you
Yeah.
want to go far, go together.
That's so true. And the irony is, when we admit we're not independent, we become stronger and more resourceful.
We can do more together. So if this self-made thing, if it's so common and potentially harmful, where did it even come from?
It's been woven into our culture for ages. Think about the classic rags to riches stories, the ones we all grew up with. They always celebrate the person who, like, beats the odds,
Sure.
determination. And while those things are important, those stories often don't acknowledge all the other factors that play into success.
All the things that make it possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, things like, access to education, money, connections, even just luck.
Not everyone starts at the same place.
Nope.
Pretending they do,
Right.
well, it keeps things unfair and creates this illusion that it's a level playing field.
It's like saying everyone has the same chance of winning a race when some people are starting miles behind.
Exactly. And this is where the self-made idea gets really tricky.
Okay.
It ignores the obstacles, the systemic barriers that so many people face.
And just blames the individual for not succeeding.
Yeah, and that can be so demoralizing.
It's like saying, if you're not succeeding, you're not working hard enough or you're not talented enough.
Exactly. And it just reinforces that idea that success is all about you, about your own merit, which isn't true.
Not at all. It also ignores the fact that sometimes, things are just out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
There's chance involved. Being in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. Like, these things can totally change our paths.
And sometimes it's just about having the support to keep going when things are hard. That's why it's important to acknowledge the role of others and to build a culture that values collaboration and support.
So how do we shift away from this me way of thinking?
Mm.
How do we start seeing success in a way that's more realistic, inclusive, and honestly, more fulfilling?
That is the question, and that's what we're going to talk about next.
Okay, so we're back.
Back again.
And we've been talking about how this myth of the self-made person, how limiting it can be.
Especially when it comes to asking for help.
Right. And giving credit to the people who've helped us get where we are.
Yep.
So to ditch this myth, what does a healthier view of success even look like?
I think it starts with realizing that true success, I mean, really, it's rarely a solo thing.
Yeah, it takes a village.
You got it. Acknowledging what others have done, embracing working together, and creating a culture of support.
For ourselves and everyone around us.
Yes. So instead of just looking at individual wins, it's more about seeing how our journeys are all connected.
Like we're in this together.
Exactly. It's like understanding that we're all building on what came before,
Mhm.
our families, mentors, teachers, friends, even those random people who are kind or inspiring.
It's easy to forget all those people,
Yeah.
especially when we're so focused on our own goals.
Oh, absolutely. We get caught up in the hustle, always looking for the next big thing. But I think taking the time to appreciate the people who helped us, that's where the real joy is.
It's like celebrating those small wins, the moments where we struggled together, the times we triumphed together. That's what gives the whole journey meaning.
Couldn't agree more. And it's not just about giving credit. It's realizing that our successes, they're often built on all that support, guidance, and shared knowledge that we got along the way. If we deny that, we're denying a whole part of our own stories.
That reminds me of this interview I did a while back with this super successful entrepreneur. Everyone kept calling her self-made, but she was like really insistent that her team, her mentors, even those early investors, they were all part of it.
She gave them credit.
Yeah. She said, I wouldn't be here without them.
I love that. Unfortunately, we often see the opposite, right?
Oh, yeah. People don't want to admit they got help.
It's like they think it makes their accomplishments less impressive.
But I think it takes a lot more strength to
Yeah.
acknowledge the people who helped you.
It does. It takes humility and self-awareness to admit that you don't know it all, that you need others to reach your full potential.
And when we do that, it creates a ripple effect.
Oh, for sure.
When we acknowledge others, it encourages others to do the same. It's like we're all giving each other permission to be real, to move away from this self-made myth.
And to embrace something more collaborative, it changes the whole story.
It does. Instead of me, it becomes we.
Yes. That shift, it can be so freeing for individuals, for society, for everyone. We move away from competition toward helping each other.
From being isolated to feeling connected.
Exactly. We're not so afraid to fail. We're more open to learning and growing together. So how do we start building this kind of culture, this supportive and collaborative world? Where do we begin, not just in our own lives, but in our workplaces, schools, communities?
It's a great question. How do we put these ideas into practice? How do we make asking for help normal and celebrate working together?
Well, that's what we'll talk about next.
So we've talked about ditching this self-made myth,
Hmm.
but what does actually building that support system look like?
It's about changing the way we think about success. And I think one of the best places to start is work.
Yeah, our workplaces.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of companies have that, like, every person for themselves kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Super competitive.
Exactly. It's about making it okay to ask for help, to share ideas, even to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And it starts with the people at the top, the leaders.
So instead of acting like they know it all, bosses need to be more open to, like, feedback and working together.
Right. When they show that it's okay to not have all the answers, when they acknowledge what their team is
It
doing.
makes everyone feel valued.
Exactly. No matter what their job is, no matter how much experience they have.
It's like saying, we're a team, we all have strengths and weaknesses, let's help each other out.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding a bad environment. When people feel comfortable talking about their problems and coming up with solutions together, that's when you get the best ideas, the real innovation.
Because you're getting everyone's perspective, all those different ways of looking at things.
Yes. And celebrating those wins together is so important too. Recognizing that it wasn't just one person, it was everyone working together.
It's shifting from me to we.
Exactly. And this isn't just for work, it's for schools too. Imagine teaching kids from the start that asking for help is a good thing, that working together is how you get strong.
That would be amazing. Instead of kids always competing with each other, they'd be learning from each other, celebrating each other's wins.
That's the goal. Imagine classrooms where making mistakes is just part of learning, where kids can ask any question they want and share ideas without being judged. That's how you really learn.
Creating that culture of curiosity, where everyone feels safe and like they can do their best.
Exactly. And it goes for our communities too, right? It's about that feeling of belonging, of knowing you're not alone no matter what.
Breaking down those walls, building bridges instead. We're all in this together, whether it's volunteering, mentoring, or just checking in on your neighbor.
There are so many ways to make the world a little kinder, a little more supportive. And the best part is, it helps everyone. Less stress, less loneliness, more purpose, more connection. It makes life better, more meaningful for all of us.
So as we finish up this deep dive, I think what we've learned is this. We weren't meant to go through life alone.
We need each other.
Success isn't just about one person. It's a team effort. It's about seeing how we're all connected and creating a world where everyone feels supported and empowered to be their best.
And don't forget, asking for help isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It means you're aware of yourself, you're willing to grow, and you're open to learning from others. So let's ditch this whole self-made idea and embrace the power of community, of working together, of supporting each other. We're all in this together. And together, we can do amazing things.